Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game between Evil Genius's IdrA and a player called puCK. puCK is the blue Protoss player in the top right, the map is Daybreak, and IdrA is the red Zerg in the bottom left. And as I said, map is Daybreak, so you have these destructible rocks coming into your natural. Your natural is quite easy to hold actually because, well, it's not too easy to hold. For IdrA it's not too bad because he's got quite a nice open space, so no chokes. For puCK, obviously he's got this area here. Protoss favour a choke point, so later in the game IdrA will probably take out these rocks just to have a nice advantage there. The third base again, quite easy. It's a good natural progression down to the third. There's even some little arrows here, just telling you the way you want to go. But then of course you do have this second entrance to your third. So your third base and natural base have very wide entrances, and they are a long way apart, which can be really difficult to deal with. Now puCK, it looks like he's going to be going for that forge or a fast expand. I always say forge fast expand. There's different types of fast expand, but basically a forward pylon means they're going for a very quick expansion. And on this map it's going to be quite difficult to pull off just because of how large this area is. So if IdrA was theoretically going for a super early pull, then puCK would be having a lot of problems. But puCK is a Grandmaster player, I believe on the North American server, so he's pretty good. So he is probably very confident with his build, and basically what he's seen from IdrA here with his scouting is that there's no spawning pull down. IdrA's actually getting quite a late one, that's a 15 spawning pull. Some players even against Protoss go for a 14 pull just to be safe from this one probe, which can sit there, it can drop down a pylon, and if a forge was down here they could simply just cannon at your natural, and cannons at your natural is a horrible experience to go through. If you're not a Zerg player and you've never had your natural base cannoned, then you're missing out. It's kind of one of those infuriating moments where you just want to rage quit and just be like, stupid overpowered cannons. Anyway, we will see IdrA dropping down that hatch at 16, I believe. So 16 there. This is a Nexus before Forge build coming out for puCK, which is a bit unusual actually. Again, it's very risky, but obviously puCK has had the scouting information to know that hatch is down. The spawning pool was pretty late, so he's feeling nicely confident, and by getting this Nexus out before the Forge, he is going to get an amazing economy going on into the mid game, and that is a risk, but ultimately it'll pay off if he can get his economy up, which looks like he's going to be able to. IdrA only getting out those 4 Zerglings, and the rush distance is huge anyway. Until these rocks are taken out, there's just such a long distance to be able to get to your opponent's base that you don't have to worry. IdrA with this Overlord will see everything, but not much to see actually, just a photon cannon coming down, and no Artosis pylon. That's always good because an Artosis pylon makes everyone lol if it goes down. And anyway, back at IdrA's base, we will just see that he's droning, because droning is winning. He's going to go and take his third base as well, and the timing of this, as I always say, about 4 minutes 20 is when you want to get it, rather, and that is exactly when IdrA's going to throw it down. And that's a good response to a fast expand build from a Protoss, because it just simply allows you to keep up economically as a Zerg player. Now, what we may see puCK do, and this probe is actually taking quite interesting positions, is, I mean, puCK, he could do one of two things here. He could firstly get up a big push. Now, there's a lot of different ways a lot of early pressure could come on, and that could be a Stargate, it could be a 6-7 gate, it could be 5 gates with a Robo, it could be just so many things, but essentially a 2 base, almost all in, a 2 base heavy push. And if IdrA doesn't scout that, he can lose. Whereas the other thing puCK can do, obviously, is just get a third early of his own. But judging by the positioning of these buildings, it's looking quite a bit more likely that he's going to be going for some kind of 2 base play. Although this could always get cancelled, and if it did get cancelled, then it's, again, a 3rd base play is more likely. And I don't actually know if something can get through there. I don't think it can. That must be a complete wall off. It's so close. But anyway, we will wait and see. It could be either way. IdrA, meanwhile, he's getting a lot of drones transferring. If we take a look at the worker count, you can actually see that puCK is ahead in terms of workers at the moment. And that is essentially due to the fact he had that Nexus out so early. And that is really brilliant. Now, IdrA, good positioning of these Zerglings here, just to see if any push was going to be coming out. He's also got an Overlord somewhere, I do believe. Or has he? No. Yep, there we go. the Overlord is up here, so he can sacrifice this at any point, just to really see whether it is a 6 gate push or something similar coming out. And I mean, the key information that these Zerglings can get is, well, Warp Gate Tech is on the way, but it's not being chrono boosted out. There are, however, sentries or gateway units being chrono boosted out, which is a big giveaway. Now, we will see a Robo and Gateway come down, so it's going to be a 3-gate Robo type build. And to be honest, that's saying to IdrA, if he did scout that, nothing coming down. IdrA, meanwhile, getting double Evolution Chamber, no Roach Warren. And IdrA, I've noticed in many of his ZvPs lately, has been avoiding getting many Roaches, going a much more kind of Zergling upgrade heavy build, and to be honest, it works really well. I personally like that build, and it usually pays off well. IdrA giving up what looks like a big push actually though. 18 Zerglings on the way, 1-1 upgrades coming out as well, and really only those 2 gas, nothing else at all. Those 2 gas haven't been down for too long, and essentially this could be a big bit of pressure. But talking of pressure, well, puCK, he's not putting on any by the looks of things, because he's getting his 3rd base down, and ultimately, while that 3rd base is there, it's saying I'm not going to be pushing for a while. But what does say I'm going to be putting on some pressure is getting 4 gateways down here, so that's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7 gates in a Robo. That can make some nasty mixtures there. This observer is obviously going to see everything, will spot those Zerglings coming in for the run by, but to be honest, with that many sentries, no problem at all for puCK to hold that, as long as you get some good force fields down, and that is one way to not get good force fields down and lose a lot of sentries. But having said that, we will see that puCK managing just to kind of clear that up a bit, and did actually lose quite a bit having said that. Well, no, he didn't lose anything. There's some more sentries hidden behind that building. I didn't think I heard anything go down, but obviously IdrA with these Zerglings has scouted out that 3rd base. Meanwhile, he's got a lot more Zerglings coming in here, and this could actually do a lot. If they can get in, it could do an awful lot, and it does appear units can squeeze through that gap there. I thought that would have been a complete wall-off, but apparently not. And here we will see IdrA, he's just running in, and holy cannons, Batman, that is a lot. Zerglings are streaming in everywhere, and now we could see some sentries go down. We will see a lot of sentries go down. This is a big win here for IdrA. He's getting an awful lot of stuff very easily. Meanwhile, he will be forced back because that Zealot has, of course, completed the wall off, and that's why I thought it was completely walled off, because of this crane thing. But that does still look like a tiny gap. Anyway, what is IdrA going to do? Well, he's just massing up on more and more Zerglings, getting Ventricle Sass as well as the speed upgrade for Overlord, so we're probably going to see some drop play, and this is good, amazing force fields actually from puCK, just stopping those Zerglings getting in at all, and just really allowing the Protoss army to clear that up very simply. If you look at the loss tab, it's still quite even though, because all of those sentries did go down, and essentially IdrA, he's just giving up. He's got 1-1 finish, he's getting 2-2 on the way as I speak. He's also getting up his 4th base, so that again will put him 1 base up. He's got some Spore Crawlers down, that's essentially just for DTs, in case there's any DTs coming out, or even air, because really ground army wise, IdrA's dominating, and these Zerglings are getting in so easily. puCK really needs to be paying more attention to get those force fields out, and if he does, I mean, if those force fields go down nicely, he'll be fine. puCK going up to that Robo Bay, so we'll be getting a Colossi out, also getting out that Twilight Council, so maybe Blinks coming out, maybe just for the more upgrades, because +1 shields on the way. Actually shields before armor, which is slightly more unusual. IdrA, meanwhile, he's getting that Infestation Pit. Where is it? There we go, Infestation Pit, and a bit of trash talking going on here, which is always fun. And that is a lot of Banelings coming out, 21 Banelings being morphed in, so suddenly this little wall off here isn't looking so safe. Also, drop tech is about to finish for IdrA, so Bane Rain is on the way, and essentially that'll be nasty. That'll be very nasty for puCK to deal with. His Stalker count isn't stupidly high. It really depends how many Overlords IdrA brings over to do that as well. And I mean, IdrA, well, he's got 4 bases up, so he's finally a base up, which is exactly where he wants to be. He's got these Overlord positions very nicely down, and essentially we're just seeing the first Colossi on its way. IdrA, meanwhile, about to finish up those 2 upgrades for melee, and I mean, puCK, he's getting up that extended thermal lance, and he's also getting blink out. IdrA getting that baning speed, he's getting the pathogen glands upgrade, and here comes the Bane Rain, 4 overlords worth of banelings. And what is puCK going to be able to do? Well, he can get some money force fields down, preventing those Zerglings getting in, but here goes the banelings. A lot of zealots go straight down, a lot of the units getting taken out incredibly quickly, and I mean, that was super effective. So many well, sentries just down, everything went down, a lot of zealots went down, and the Zergling's actually going to pull back, and I think that's a good move by IdrA. He doesn't want to overcommit. That first Colossi is out, and IdrA doesn't have enough to deal with that. IdrA is getting Hive Tech down now as well, so he will be getting that probably for the +3 upgrades. Also for, I'd imagine Ultras is what he's going to be looking to go for, because he doesn't even have a Spire yet. So the sheer fact he doesn't have a Spire is quite surprising. If he drops one down, obviously it would be Broodlords, but otherwise, taking up to Broodlords before getting the kind of tier 3 Ultras, which just takes so long. Infestors should be coming out pretty soon as well now for IdrA, although he doesn't seem to have any in production. Meanwhile, he's got Contaminate going down here, preventing that 4th base. And it looks like puCK's going to move out. Now, puCK doesn't actually have much stuff at all. The food supply is pretty even, but that's because, well, actually, IdrA has a worker lead as well, so puCK's doing quite nicely here in terms of his army composition, and to deal with these Zerglings is absolutely good. They're 2-2 Zerglings against +1 Zealots, so ultimately not great upgrade advantage obviously there for IdrA, but I mean, still, Zealots against Zerglings are a nice composition, and really there comes the 8 Infestors. IdrA can't do much until those Infestors do pop. There's Stargate on the way. Sonic Storm is about to finish up for puCK as well. That essentially he's doing everything he can to deal with these mass Zerglings, because Storm along with Colossi deal with Zerglings so well. A lot of Banelings are loaded up, ready for a drop to come down, and we will see puCK actually taking his 4th base, and if he manages to get that up, that could be potentially game changing. Now this Stargate is probably just to get a mothership out, because motherships are just so good. They're brilliant, especially in the PvZ matchup. They just work so well. Here comes a double Spire up for IdrA, so he is actually going to be going for Broodlords. But he needs to get him out quickly, and he looks like he's gearing up for a big engagement here. How effective will it be? Well, here we go. He's going in, he's running in, he's getting a good flank, but there are quite a few High Templar there. Some great feedbacks go down, but a massive fungal growth there for IdrA. Banewain comes down and deals a lot of damage, but to be honest, those Colossi just have great positioning. They're so spread out, and there's a forward, and IdrA's left. Yep, IdrA's left the game. No GG or anything like that, because Protoss is overpowered. And isn't meant to be able to beat Zerg. But I think, again, IdrA had his 4th base up, but it wasn't saturated, and obviously this 4th base for puCK was up, so IdrA wasn't in a great spot there. I think his mistake was actually just not getting his Spire up ready. If he committed a lot to that engagement, and it just didn't work out for him. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the game, give it a thumbs up, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube. And tune in again. Bye for now.